Hi friends, happy Earth Day. It's Wednesday, April 22nd, and all over the world people are celebrating this day in honor of our beautiful planet Earth. It started a long time ago in 1970, and every year people try to think of ways to help our Earth. There's lots of things that you and I can do, and we'll be talking about those in just a minute. But before we do, I want to read to you some facts. They're really surprising, and it's about how much we waste and how much we throw away. So we all live, I think most of us all live in Contra Costa County, in Lafayette, in Walnut Creek, in Moraga, Orinda, Danville, San Ramon, Brentwood. I think of all the places we live. It's called Contra Costa County. And in Contra Costa County, every single day, every single person throws away 4.5 pounds of garbage. That's not the things that go in our blue bin or go in our green bins. It's the things that go in our black bins. And do you know where they end up? In this place called a landfill. You might have heard it also referred to as the dump, because that's where stuff gets dumped. But we're running out of room. We're running out of landfill. So we have to really think about what we do with our garbage. And I know a lot of you are already doing it. Probably everybody, to some extent, recycles or composts. I'm going to read you a few more. So if we take that 4.5 pounds times 365 days, which is a year, that equals out to 1,569 pounds of garbage per person a year. That's a lot of garbage. And if you multiply that by all the people that live in the United States, which is about, I think, 280 million, maybe more, that equals 447,307,000 pounds of garbage a year. Excuse me, you might hear there's a little family here that's out on this gorgeous spring day playing soccer and flying kites. So that's what you might hear in the background. Here's some more facts. 60 million plastic water bottles end up in landfills and incinerators every day. 60 million. 1 million plastic bottles are used every single minute of every single day. Every day, all over the world, and only 23% are recycled. I wonder where the rest of those bottles go. 4 trillion plastic bags per year are used worldwide. Americans use 65 billion aluminum cans each year. And on an average, Americans throw out 43,000 tons of food a day. Boy, these are some, I'm going to read a couple more. So today when I was in the garden, and sometimes I bring snacks in the garden, but I don't really eat candy except for maybe on the day after Halloween. This is a Milky Way wrapper. I've never eaten a Milky Way in this garden. So what happened is that somebody either just tossed it on the ground or thought they put it in a garbage can. But how do you think it got in the Garden of Learning? Wind. So if I hadn't found it, it's very light. It can travel a long way. It would probably blow down to our creeks. There's creeks all around us in this area. And from there, do you know where those creeks go? They go down to the ocean. So this little teeny tiny wrapper, which doesn't seem like a very big deal at all, would go in the ocean. But if we don't start really putting our garbage in the right place, by the time, this is a long time from now, but by the year 2050, there'll be more plastic in the ocean than there are fish. We don't want that to happen. So what are we going to do? We are going to get busy. One of the best ways that we can take care of our kitchen scraps is composting. Oop, I skipped a step. Okay, I'm going to go back to this. We'll get to composting in 1 minute. So I want you to pretend for a second that this is Earth. This apple represents Earth. You ready? Okay, and it's going to show how much soil and land we have out of our whole Earth to grow food. Okay. So I'm going to take this apple and I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces. Okay, so I'm going to take these 3 pieces and put them aside. I'm going to have them later. So these 3 pieces represent our oceans because our Earth is made up of, well, 3/4 of our planet is water, our oceans. We can't grow food, plants in the ocean, so we're going to put that aside. So this is what's left right now. This is our total land to grow food. But I'm going to take this and I cut this in half carefully. And I'm going to set a piece aside. And this represents land where people can't live. Let's try to think of some places, like the polar regions. Can people live in the really hot desert? Mm-mm. Or where it's on really high mountains? Mm-mm. So this piece represents land where people can live, but maybe not necessarily grow food. So I'm going to take our little piece of Earth and I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces very carefully. 1, 2, this one's tricky. And I take these 3 pieces because they represent places where people can live, but not necessarily grow food. Like where it's too cold, or too wet, or too steep, or too rocky. Or it also represents all the land that's taken up by freeways and parking lots and supermarkets and buildings where you can't grow food because there's no soil. So I'm going to put these aside. Okay, so out of our whole Earth, this little piece is what's left of where we can grow our food. But because a lot of soil isn't taken care of or people haven't used it and it's blown away, I'm going to cut this. This little sliver is the Earth's crust that's 5 feet deep. This is all that's left of where we can grow our food. So we have to take care of our Mother Earth. And let's start. Let's think of ways, but I have something fun for us to do. And don't worry, this isn't going to go in the compost because I'm going to eat it later. So I'm going to scoot that aside. So what is compost? You hear that word all the time. Well, gardeners like to call it black gold because it's this amazing, rich soil that's filled with so many vitamins and minerals and nutrients that feed our plants. That's the only thing we use in the Garden of Learning. We don't use pesticides or herbicides or any chemicals at all. And that's another really great way to help our planet, is to use compost. So again, what is compost? So, you know how we cut all of the things that die in the garden, which it's time when they're time to die, and we put them in the big compost, and sometimes they're like really big pieces of branches or cuttings that it's time. And we put them in one of the bins, we water it, we turn it around, and something miraculous happens. In about 3 months, it breaks down from this size to this size. There's all these little critters that we can't see. Some we can see and some we can't. And they're helping decompose this. That means they're helping break this down. Down, 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 down. Because anything that was living can decompose. I hear somebody's not too happy behind me. So what happens after about another 3 months of turning and watering? You get, look at how different the size is. Can you see that? And actually, oh my goodness, they're having a great game. Oh, it smells so good. And if I were to sift this and get the big pieces out, this is what I'm gonna put around our vegetables for summer, our tomatoes and our basil and all of our summer flowers and fruits, because it has all those amazing vitamins. There's a lot more to compost than just that, but that's a simple way. A simple explanation is what I meant. So I sent home some fun garden packets for Earth Day. Some of you might have them this week, and some of you might get them next week. And in it is, I don't have it in front of me, but I gave you instructions on how to make your very own micro composting kitchen container. Oh my goodness, does that sound complicated? Well, it really isn't. So all you're going to need is another bottle. I cut mine a little too short, but I didn't want to waste it. You're going to have an adult cut the top off, just the very little top, so you have nice flat. Doesn't matter if it's dirty or not. I mean, if it has something sugary in it or something like that, you're going to rinse it out. So a lot of us put our food scraps into a little green or silver compost container that usually lives under our kitchen sink or by your garbage. And then we take that out and we take it to the big green recycling bin. But you can do something else with it. You can compost right in your own house. So I am going to take, I meant to leave this up here. I'm going to take a scoop of my soil. You can use garden soil, whatever you have handy. Doesn't have to be compost, because you're gonna make compost. And I'm gonna take about 3 inches. One, two, three. So right about there. Compost likes to be moist, like a wrung out sponge. Not too wet, not too dry. So I'm gonna give my soil a little bit of water. Move that around. So, I don't know about you, but I'm not really crazy about eating a banana peel. So I'm gonna take my banana peel and break it up, because the smaller the pieces, the faster it decomposes. It breaks down into compost. So I'm gonna put that in there. I'm gonna save the rest of this for my compost at home. And let me see what else I have. Oh, I had a yummy egg. So I'm gonna take the eggshells, and I peeled some carrots. I have more eggshell here. What else did I have? Oh, little peel, so I'm gonna rip up. Then I wanna make sure I cover it again with about 3 inches of soil. So boys and girls, in here can go tea bags, coffee, orange rinds, peels, everything except no meat and no dairy. So that means no turkey or hamburger, and it means no cheese. What else is dairy? Can you think of something else dairy? Oops, I think somebody behind me is not very happy. Poor little love. Okay, and then I'm gonna do it again. A little bit of water. And I'm gonna make another layer. It's almost like I'm making a compost lasagna. Some more eggshell. Some more, you don't want your pieces too big. Maybe a little more banana peel. And it's really, really important to make sure that your top layer covers all of your food scraps. You know those pesky little flies that get on, the little fruit flies that get on a piece of fruit on your counter that's bad? You don't want those in here. So I'm gonna make sure it's all the way covered up. And by doing this, not only are you making really good compost for plants at your house, you're saving those scraps from going into your garbage bins. You're gonna I would probably do maybe one more little layer, but I'm gonna stop right here. I'm gonna make sure it's like this, a little bit moist. And I'm gonna give it a shake. And I'm gonna put it on a sunny windowsill in my kitchen. If that's not something that's possible, you can put it underneath your sink or wherever the adult in your house thinks it's best. And then you're gonna watch it. You're gonna watch all those eggshells and banana peel get smaller and smaller and smaller until you have compost. That'll take about probably 6 to 8 weeks. Be fun if you kept a chart. Okay, so there you have it, your micro composter. And you recycled a bottle. So let's think, I sure made a mess. You'll probably be a lot cleaner at this than I am. So, can you hear that little love? Okay, let me just clean up the rest of my table. So think, there's these 3 words they talk a lot about. Reuse, recycle, and reduce. So we were talking about how much garbage each of us throws away every day. And we do our best, but sometimes it just happens. But what are some items you can either reuse or recycle around your house? I brought a few things. So, this is that can I was talking about. What would we do with this? Would we put it in our black garbage can? No. We would actually put this in our blue recycling garbage can, and I made sure that it's clean and ready. So this we can recycle. Maybe you could look up how to make some things with it, but it's pretty sharp, so I don't usually make arts and crafts with this. I just recycle it. Oh, newspaper. I've already read it. I'm all done. What should I do with it? Should I put it in the trash can? Or should I put it in the recycler? The recycler. Do you know which one it goes in? If it doesn't have any food on it, it can go in your blue cart. But let's say you were eating and you got a little pizza sauce or something on it, then it would go in our greens with all our green leaves and all the things from our yard. It would go in there. But you know what else I could do with this? Have you ever done paper mache? I'm not gonna do it today, but you can rip this in pieces. You could also, this is a fun thing, take your markers and just color. And I'm just going super fast. Because you know what? I didn't have any color at paper at home, and I wanted to make a mosaic. I'm just going to do one more color because I have a lot of other things I want to show you. So, well, I didn't get all of it, so I'm doing it fast. And I can rip it into pieces. And I can put these on a piece of paper and make a pretty design with glue. That's just another one idea. So that would be reusing this. But for now, I'm going to recycle it. What are some things that we end up throwing away that we could really maybe use other ways? I bet you're going to come up with so many different things. So this is an old CD. Not using it anymore. You've done this in the garden. This is a really super fun way to keep the birds from eating all your vegetables and seeds in your garden. You can use paint. You can use markers. You can make a design. You'll be better at this because I'm just doing this really fast. You can do circles. If I had more time, I would really take my time doing this and think about some different designs I'd want to do. Then you take a piece of string and you hang it. I wonder, can you see this? Can you see? Anyhow, birds don't like shiny things. So we hang these around our grapevines and around our mulberries, and it keeps the birds away. So that's something that we, instead of throwing it away, we could reuse it. And one more example. I have a lot of dirt in my fingernails from doing that, so excuse my dirty fingernails. This was a can. I could recycle it because it's nice and clean, the label's off of it, but I think if I painted it or put paper over it or put those little pieces of the colored newspaper on it and made it really pretty, it would make a great holder for my Sharpies or my crayons or my markers or my pencils or maybe my ponies. So that's reusing things around the house that we would just throw away. There's a million more, and I'd love for you to tell me some of the ideas that you came up. So are you ready for an Earth Day craft? I think we are. Okay. So earlier I went around the Garden of Learning. You can go in your backyard when you take your walks in your neighborhood, but you always ask permission to pick something. You never pick anything unless a grown-up says it's okay. So I picked a little rosemary. I have some twigs. I have a grass. I have a blossom that was on the ground. I have more twigs and sticks, little rosemary. And I'm gonna make a collage. Do you know what a collage is? It's when you take things and you make a picture. So I made a collage and I spelled the word earth. I like this so much. I think this would be really pretty in a window or on a refrigerator or on a table. Can you see that, boys and girls? So what I did is I took all my little nature findings and I took some glue. It's gonna ask you if you could see my glue. Is it right here? Oh, I found it. Do you ever do that? I'm doing that all the time. So I am gonna write in glue an E for earth. I'm gonna look at mine. Oh, I think that these twigs would make a really good E. I'm gonna hold it down. Hold it down. It didn't take very long for my other collage to dry, but I just want to show you. And then I'm going to take another stick and break it. Can you see what I'm doing, boys and girls? I hope you can. I think I need a little more glue. It works really well on like colored paper because that's a little thicker, but it'll work on anything you have. Okay, let me see. What should I do for A? Ooh, maybe I'll save that for R. A. Oh, I got an A. A weed. So I'm just gonna place it down. Take this piece. And as always, you're the artist. You can do what you want. It doesn't have to be perfect. Ah, I got an A, an E, A, and then an R. And I said I would think I was going to use a little sprig of rosemary. I think I need a new glue. If you hear a noise in the background, because it's a little bit of a breezy day, I don't know about you, but I love flying kites on a breezy day, and that's what they're doing behind me. And then the other part of the R. Okay. What am I going to use for my T? I think this will make a great T. It's a little piece of grass. There we go, almost done. Then I also thought what would be kind of a nice thing to do on this piece of paper, because as you can see, I have a lot of room left. You could write what you love about Earth. What's your favorite thing about living on this planet? Okay, one more, an H, and then we are all done with our collage. Ooh, I'm gonna do these pretty blossoms that were on the ground. And do another one on this side. Wow. One more on this side. There we have another Earth collage. And I love these. So just a few more, boys and girls. I hope you're enjoying this time together. I know I am. I have 2 more crafts for you. You've probably been doing this a lot. And when I go on my walk in my neighborhood, I see chalk drawings with really lovely messages, and I see painted rocks everywhere also with really nice things, and they make me smile. So I'm sure that maybe some of you have been painting rocks. I've been painting rocks too, having a little bit of fun, I have to tell you. So I thought, what kind of rocks, because you guys are usually the ones that paint rocks, but I thought, what can I add to the garden that's not here? And I thought it would be fun by our weather station to have some weather rocks. And this is a day that has a rainbow with sun and a little bit of clouds. Here's a totally rainy day, but just with white clouds. And, oh, like today, sunny. Ooh, brr, this was the other day. Dark, dark, dark clouds. And can you guess what this is? I hope so. A little raindrop? We were supposed to get little raindrops tonight, but I don't think we are. And finally, we don't get this very often, but lightning. Oh, I have one more. Wind. So I thought it's kind of fun if you could find some around your yard. You could even make a story. You could think of your favorite story and make the characters or things that are in the story. Like you could do a theme. So these are my weather rocks. And maybe you see over here, I thought that these were kind of fun. Yum. I made M&Ms. Really easy. You just paint it, let it dry, and do a little tiny M. I bet, boys and girls, that you could come up with so many ideas for your rocks. And keep them, or leave them, or share them. Okay, so are you ready for our final Earth Day project? Okay. While I'm setting up, I need you to really think. You think of some ways of how we can help our Earth. So, you can take any color paper you have. If you only have white, it'd be kind of fun to make it blue. But it doesn't matter because there's another way you can do this. And you're gonna need paper, some green paint. These were scrap pieces of paper I had. Just a few scrap pieces of paper, and again, some good old glue. A glue stick works. So, what we are gonna do first is draw a circle. Draw a circle on our paper. I'm not the best at drawing a circle, so I had a plate here. I'm gonna take my plate or anything and I put it in the middle of my paper and I'm going to draw a circle. This plate is scalloped, so my Earth has little ridges. So we want to start to make our circle our Earth, okay? Now, this is the part that gets a little messy. Maybe whoever you're doing this with doesn't really want you to paint with your hand, but if you want to and it's okay, I'm gonna make the first part of the Earth with my handprint. So what I'm going to do is take a paper plate. I thought I was all prepared. I don't see a paintbrush, but I can make it work. Okay. Oh well. So what I'm gonna do, you would take a paintbrush, move it around and paint your hand. I'm gonna use my finger. Ooh, it feels so good. It's been a very long time since I've done handprints. I wanna get all my hand, as much as I can. And usually when I paint, especially when it's messy like this, I put on a paint smock or an old t-shirt because I don't want my clothes to get paint on it. Okay, I'm gonna try this. Let's keep our fingers crossed. And I'm gonna put my hand straight down and straight up. Ready? Kind of pat it down. And bring it. Yay! Thank goodness this time I have a cloth. So I have a little more paint and I'm gonna fill in. Did you see that? Does that look like, kind of start to look like Earth? And I'm gonna fill in some more places where there's land. Okay, I actually have to tell you, I'm really kind of having a little bit of fun with this. Again, I'm doing this a lot faster than you probably will. I think we need a little more up here. And again, if you want to use your finger, that's great. A paintbrush works too. So does a sponge. Have you ever sponge painted? All right. So now we have our Earth. And all that blue is what? It's our oceans. So our little planet needs help. So I thought it would be kind of fun if we could make Band-Aids. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to make a Band-Aid. I'm going to take just leftover pieces of scrap paper. It doesn't matter what color it is. And I'm going to take, I don't know, orange. Do you think that's a good color for a Band-Aid? I'm going to make a little square. I'm going to color it in. And then Band-Aids have little air holes. There's a family behind me now that's out enjoying outside the garden. Does that look like a Band-Aid to you? Pretty close, huh? So now I'm gonna think of a way, how can I help my Earth and put a Band-Aid on it? Let me think. I know, we talked about this earlier. I'm really, really going to not waste water. And then if you want, you could put save water. We do that by turning off our water when we're scrubbing our teeth or when we're not using it. Save water. So maybe you can add a Band-Aid a day. Maybe you want to keep going and making your Band-Aids and thinking of ways that we can heal the Earth. And again, I'm going to say happy, happy Earth Day. And until we meet again, I'll be coming back to you very shortly with some more crafts and story times. Stay well and healthy and stay at home. Bye. I gotta go home and get paint off my hands.